Hello guys, in this video let's talk about deployment of Laravel projects and many mistakes that I've seen developers make when doing that. I've made a list of at least 10 typical mistakes that I've done in the past or I've seen others doing, because deployment to live may be tricky. You often forget something, then you realize that you forgot something only when the project is live, and then the panic mode begins. So I hope this video will help you to avoid such situations. Let's begin. So the first mistake developers do before launching project to production is they don't test it fresh. They don't rehearse the deployment. So what often happens is developers work on the project and the project is in certain stage with already existing data, locally installed packages and everything, but quite rarely developers try to install it fresh in a new folder, on a new server, in a new environment. So this is what you need to do to kind of simulate what it would be to deploy to live server. And here's a demo project, one of the projects on Laravel Daily, and according to the instructions, you should run the installation fresh. So this is exactly what I will do: git clone in a new empty folder, and then copy .env.example, and then fill in the credentials for database and other stuff. And we'll talk about those in a minute in this video. But basically you need to run the whole installation process, run composer install, artisan migrate, and all of that, because the underlying mistakes of how the projects are structured is, for example, migrations may not work because at some point there were manual changes to the database and everyone forgot about that. Maybe there are seeders missing, which are required for deploying to production. Some default users, default roles, default categories, whatever. Maybe those are missing because they were added again manually to the database locally. Also, migrations may not work because of different database drivers. So maybe locally you worked with SQLite and you want to deploy to MySQL. Maybe some packages are abandoned or don't work anymore and composer install would fail for whatever reason. So basically my first message is ensure that the project installation works at all. So in my case, I finished the installation with migrations, key generate, npm run build, and then I launched the homepage and it seemed to be working. This is the first green light, good sign to move forward towards production deployment. The next mistake when deploying to production, or in fact it will be a series of mistakes, is do not fill in .env file properly on the deployment live server. So what could be the mistakes made here? Probably two most important settings are app-env and app-debug. First, on production, app-debug should be always false, because otherwise it would show all the debugging errors and data and details to your live customers, including database structure, eloquent queries, file structure, file name, so basically huge security issue. And then related to that, app-env production will also make sure that some local stuff will not get shown on production. For example, in Laravel Eloquent, there's configuring Eloquent strictness, so you can configure preventing of lazy loading, but only in your local environment. So here and there you may see app is production, manual checks, or checks inside of the framework. So those two things are non-negotiable: app-env and app-debug. And actually here I will mention another security flaw. Perhaps no one does it these days, but just in case I will repeat: do not push your .env to GitHub and do not make it public in whatever form. .env.example should be in a GitHub for other developers to see the keys with empty values, but .env should be hidden and only accessible on the server when you SSH to the server and edit that data manually. The next mistake is some developers forget to update app URL. I remember on Laracast forum there were typical questions like why my file upload doesn't work. And of course it doesn't work because it relies on app URL, and if you leave it localhost or whatever is your test domain, then of course it wouldn't work on the live server. And speaking of app URLs, a few more things to not forget. If you install SSL certificate, and of course you should do that, then do not forget to change that to HTTPS here. And also in the code before deployment, double check that you're using relative paths everywhere. So here's my tweet, pretty recent and pretty popular with 70 likes. So always use paths like storage path, public path, so Laravel helpers to access some path without hard coding the URLs or full paths that may be different on your local and on production server. And also another side note, I remember in WordPress, whenever I deploy something to live back in the day, when I used WordPress, if I mentioned some image in the content, it was always with the full URL with localhost or whatever was the URL, and I always had to deal with updating all the URLs after deployment. And fun fact, it did work for me because, for example, I'm on my localhost, I deploy, I launch the website, it works for me with real URL on production, but it loads the images from my local host, which works for me. And then other developers or other users report that the images aren't loading or something. So yeah, kind of a side note, always ask someone else to check the website if it works for them. And of course, run automated tests if you have them. So that's with the URLs. Next topic, or the next kind of set of mistakes, is basically forgetting to double check pretty much all the values in .env file. Probably the most crucial ones I will mention is, of course, database credentials, and of course it should be the same database. As I mentioned already, if you used SQLite in the process of development, double check with MySQL local before running on MySQL on production, so it should be the same database driver. And speaking of drivers, double check which drivers you want to use for sessions, queue connection, file system disk, mail driver, or it's called mail mailer. So basically make your choices for production, which may be different from your local. So for example, locally you may run it without queues with queue connection sync. And then for production, you may want to use database driver or Redis or something else. And with queues, my advice would be to specifically take the time to test if the queues work after the deployment. Because with queues, there are many things that can go wrong. It may be misconfigured, it may be not launched. On the server, you need to configure supervisor if you want it to run automatically. And that's why I love tools like Laravel Forge, because they do that automatically for me and I don't need to SSH to the server to do that manually. But yeah, specifically with queues, time and time again, I see issues that queue is not working, not restarted, or something similar. The next mistake is not checking the third-party credentials. So this is all in config services of Laravel usually, and this is a demo from another project. So if you use any service providers like email, Postmark, or Mailgun, they should be here. Also Stripe keys and whatever other API keys. Locally, they are probably different, and you need to make sure that production keys are in .env in production, and that's why it's beneficial to have, as I mentioned, .env.example for yourself and other developers, so you would know what keys do you need specifically and what are their key names. And this tip also includes not only API keys, but any URLs for webhooks or social URLs after login. They often also are provided in .env and in the config, so double check those. The next mistake, which I probably should have mentioned earlier, is while preparing the server for deployment, double check the versions of the software. So PHP version and MySQL version or whatever other database you use. Also Node.js version. Here I'm showing Laravel Forge, what it's like to create a server via Laravel Forge. So you can choose the versions pretty easily, but that's not the point. The point is that the versions should be identical locally and on production, because there may be unpleasant surprises if the production server is older or newer, and some syntax in your code that worked locally would not work on production. The next mistake is leaving CDNs after deploying to production. For example, Tailwind, locally you may have worked with this. So one of the installation ways is place CDN, so you just do script and load the Tailwind from CDN, and that works locally. But after deployment, you may forget to change that to proper installation with npm. Here's an example using Vite, or in the latest Laravel 12, it comes already pre-installed with Tailwind 4 and pre-configured. Or another example of CDN-based usage often is Alpine.js. So even on their homepage of Alpine.js, they suggest to just load it from CDN, and there you go. And you may still do that in production for Alpine.js, but maybe a more proper way for all the JS library is to use proper npm install and have it in package.json. And the same goes for any JS or CSS scripts that you use. Just double check that you don't leave CDNs if you prefer to install them properly with npm on production. And the final mistake in this video, there may be more and we can discuss in the comments if I missed something, but some developers forget to tweak their PHP or web server settings for production usage. So here's an article, a very old article on Laravel Daily from 2018, then it was updated to 2022, but the message is the same. A typical practical example is file validation. So if you work with bigger files, you need to put the validation rules in a few places. So first validation is on Laravel level, in form request or whatever. Then you have PHP settings, which are these: upload max file size and post max size in general. So you need to bump them up for bigger files, and also in Nginx or Apache, whatever web server you use, probably Nginx at this point. In most cases, there's also client max body size setting that you may want to tweak. And this is just one example, but in general, make sure that your PHP and web server settings are ideally identical to your local ones, or otherwise make necessary changes. So yeah, these are the mistakes when deploying to production that I've made personally in the past, or I've seen others did it, based on the questions that I saw on forums, or in my YouTube comments, or on Twitter, or elsewhere. What do you think about this list? Have you done anything like that yourself, any of those mistakes? Share your stories, and what other mistakes developers should avoid when deploying their Laravel projects to live servers. Let's discuss everything in the comments. That's it for this time, and see you guys in other videos.